Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So I have basically changed up my foundation routine recently. I'm loving a different kind of base. I won't get into it right now in the intro because you'll see and hear all about it in the video. It's glowy, it's flawless in my opinion, and yeah, it's a bit different to what I have been doing for the past few years. So yeah, I really hope you like it. If you want to know how I got this look, then please keep on watching, but don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you aren't part of the family, and also make sure you give this video a like because it really helps me out. Enjoy the video. Good morning guys, it's currently like 9 AM right now. I have learned how to make a frothy, can you see the froth? I'm not trying to tip this all over my table. A frothy chai tea latte. While on this quarantine situation, I have bought myself a little milk frother, you know, just thought I'd experiment and stuff. So I'm enjoying this very much. Oh, and some agave syrup. So good. I actually do have somewhere to be today. My brother is doing his registry wedding because the rest of his wedding got postponed, unfortunately, due to everything going on. So this is like the small piece of their wedding that they could salvage, and it's just two families before everyone gets worried and panicked that there's 50 people in the room, because there ain't, okay? I just wanted to show you my foundation routine at the moment. Just get ready with you guys. So first up, I'm gonna go in with the Mercier Illuminating Primer. This primer is just so beautiful. I am loving like glowy skin at the moment. And yeah, this just gives you the most gorgeous base to work with. And then who would I be without that Kevyn Aucoin situ going on? You know, I gotta hit it around the mouth. This is like my go-to for when I'm in a rush and I wanna color correct. When I'm not in a rush, I will use like my Live Tinted Hue Stick because I bloody love that thing as well. It's so good. I really don't take too much of this. It's more so just to add warmth into those dull areas. Okay, and then let's move on to foundation. So I actually have a few favorite foundations at the moment. So I'm thinking I might do like my favorite foundations at the moment video, because when I went to do this video and I went to grab one, I was like, ooh, but I like that one. I love that one, and I love that one at the moment. So it's really difficult. But yeah, I've gone with this Shiseido Synchro Skin one just because I'm gonna have my makeup on all day. Actually, the others work perfect as well. But yeah, I'm basically loving more of like an luminous base, like something that gives you that really healthy satin looking skin, not super wet dewy, more satin. Works really well with powder, all of that kind of stuff. And yeah, the coverage on this is amazing as well. I don't think it's full coverage, it's definitely like a really good medium coverage foundation, but it's one that I think you absolutely need. It makes your skin just look beautiful. I actually have this in the shade Oak, and I pumped some on the back of my hand, and I'm just gonna dot this around my face, and then I don't like to take too much on my forehead, and that's kind of just enough. So I'll just stipple that all out because obviously stippling gives you more coverage. So even when I'm using like a light foundation, I'll stipple so that the foundation can go on with better coverage. This is definitely medium, like I can still see my skin, and I feel like I've got to the point where I'm like, I don't really want to wear really heavy full coverage foundations. I've found a way to wear more of like a medium coverage foundation, or even like a sheer foundation, and make it look medium just through application, powder, instead of like piling on the foundation and then going in with powder and baking, doing the whole heavy ass situation. There are other ways to make your makeup A, last all day, and B, still look flawless and almost full coverage. So glad, like I've been experimenting and I've kind of found this new way. Guys, how flawless does that look? And I really hope the camera's picking this up, but can you see it's just hitting the light and it looks so good. So normally I would go in with a second layer and I would then make this foundation full coverage. But right now it's just a nice medium coverage foundation, like definitely. And I'm gonna leave it there. Yes, I am. I'm gonna make this look more I don't know, give it a bit more like impact just through contouring, concealer. Once you get your concealer on and cover up them dark circles, I swear to God, your life will change. That is when you'll see things come together and the powder go on, and then you'll be like, oh, I didn't need that full coverage, you know? Trust me, I've been there, I've experienced it. So I'm gonna go in with a cream contour. I'm just taking my MAC Studio Fix concealer in the shade, no, it's not concealer, foundation in the shade NW50. So I've just taken this on my cheeks, my temples, and down my nose. And then I'm just gonna go ahead and blend that out. And I always keep my foundation brush or beauty blender, whatever you like to use. I still love to use brushes. I'll keep it on hand just so that when I'm blending that contour, if I feel like it's looking a bit patchy in a certain area or I've taken it too far, I'll just use whatever's left on my brush and just pat just to kind of soften it. And then for concealer, I'll go in with something that's medium to full coverage for sure. Now that is something I have to do. I have dark circles, as you can see, and I'm not color correcting, so I will go in with something full coverage. And this is where you'll get that impact in your look. I'm gonna take the Hourglass Vanish concealer, or like you could use anything. I am also really loving the Too Faced Born This Way concealer. I do think I have a video with my favorite concealers, which I did not too long ago, so I'll link that for you now. But this concealer isn't in that video because it came out just after. This is definitely a fave as well. So I'm just gonna apply this in all of the usual spots. So underneath my eyes, in the center of my head, down my nose, my cupid's bow, and my chin. And then a new little Scott Barnes trick that I learned. Scott Barnes, if you don't know, is J-Lo's makeup artist. I recently did a video recreating his makeup look for her, so I'll link that as well. He basically uses a flat brush, like a foundation brush, and he just pats. Now he does this before foundation, but I do this after. So, you know, I've just applied his tips to my own makeup application, and this is definitely going to give you that coverage. So I'm going to pat, and then I'm going to blend with my foundation brush just to make it seamless. And then just down the nose, I'll just blend that with my normal blendy brush. And then under the eyes, I'm just going to pick up the product on the brush and then pat and move it around while it's still kind of wet. And if you notice, I always take the concealer up the side of my nose because this just helps with that contouring. Can you see the coverage under my eyes? This is mad. And this concealer is amazing, so brightening as well. I love that. And then I've just used my foundation brush to blend over the edge just so that you get rid of that line and everything then looks seamless. As you can see, I'm just pressing over that edge. And I always do this. And then for powder, you can go in with any translucent powder that you love. I love to use either my Mercier, or I like to use Hourglass Veil translucent powder, which is what I'm going to use today, just because it's nice and lightweight. So I will always, before I powder, I will make sure I have no creasing right here under my eyes, and then I will set. And I'll always go and hit the powder like here first, instead of right under my eyes. And then I'll just take the excess down my nose. And then I'll also just take some on my nose. And then I'll pat the powder in all of the areas that I highlighted. So definitely on my head, just in the center. And I kind of have to get a mini bake on right here where my smile line is, just because my foundation does tend to crease there if I'm talking, smiling a lot, and Lord knows I talk a lot and I do smile a lot. So just gonna dust away any excess powder. I'm not really trying to bake or have this sit on my skin. And I go in with quite a lot of powder at first, just so that it's on, okay? I'm really trying to set that in place, but I'm not trying to bake and have it look heavy. And then I'm going to go in with my favorite lightweight face setting powder, and that is MAC Mineralized Skin Finish. This genuinely is a skin finish powder. I'll just pat this over the rest of my face. I just want to make sure it's all nice and set before we go in with bronzer. This genuinely is my favorite face setting powder. Like, it never ever fails me. And you can use this with a full coverage foundation, like if you were doing like a heavy ass look, if you were going really sheer. This is just like the go-to powder. If you don't have MAC Mineralized Skin Finish in your shade for your face, then I don't know what you're doing, babe. Oh, and of course, Give Me Sun bronzer as well. MAC Mineralized Skin Finish. Again, them two are just like, I can't live without them. Genuinely can't. So speaking of MAC Give Me Sun, look at my very, very battered and well-loved Give Me Sun. Like genuinely, this is how you know I love it so much. Yeah, it's embarrassing. It really, really is. But I'm going to use every single last bit of it until I stop. I'm just going to take this onto my cheeks and basically right over where we cream contoured. And you can see literally there's some darkness right here. So we're going to use like where the cream contour is as a guide. Now, I personally love a lot of bronzer just because it gives you that healthy, glowy looking skin, like glowy without it being highlighter. You just look like you've been in the sun, and I most certainly haven't. I've been indoors, so yeah, this just looks like you've got that vitamin D up in your system. You've been outside, you could have been on holiday, and it just helps to add like dimension to your face without it being like contoury and like too ashy, without it being like a shadow. It's just warmth, you know. Since the Scott Barnes video, I want to do my jaw, just because obviously he didn't give me, I gave myself, but from that video I got a jawline and a half. So now I'm like, okay. And then I'll just take a little bit, whatever's left on my brush, just down the sides of my nose. And then this next step, I can't really skip it because I just feel like it always brings my makeup together. It just makes you look that extra bit polished. So I'll go in with a bit of my translucent powder right under my bronzer, and I'll just really lightly, you can see I'm not doing a heavy bake under there. I'll just clean up and create like a line, or even I'll take it around here, around my smile, just to give me, you know, that shape. And it just makes you look more defined, gives you a more defined cheekbone for sure. This kind of makeup that I'm doing is the kind of makeup that looks good like instantly, and then it looks even better in a couple of hours once like it's settled into your skin and your natural oils are coming through and that kind of thing. It just looks more healthy, more glowy throughout the day. I love, love, love this style of makeup that I'm doing today. So then highlight. Now, obviously there are so many different highlighters that I absolutely love, but one that is just an absolute staple, I think, in a lot of our makeup bags is Becca Champagne Pop. Like, this stuff just never ever gets old for me. I'm just gonna take this on the top of my cheekbones, just a teeny bit. This is the Scott Barnes highlight brush. This is the 66 brush. It is freaking huge, so it hits your whole cheekbone like really quick. So I'll just take a little bit on the top of my cheekbones, and then what I always do, so basically I've done all of my powder now, so I can go in with a face mist, Fix Plus, this one, this is the Anastasia Beverly Hills one, a Fenty spray, anything that is basically a mist. And this is just gonna help all the powders kind of like mesh together. It's gonna make your face come alive, and then it's also gonna make that highlighter pop. I will always go in with a mist, and this is like, even if I'm doing full coverage, sheer, foundation, whatever it is, this is what's gonna make your makeup bang, okay? So I'll just leave that for like a minute while that dries. Right, now that that has settled on my skin, can you see that I just look fresher? And can you see like that little bit of highlighter that I did put on is a lot more glowy? Now I'll go in with a smaller brush and use the same highlighter and just hit the top of the cheekbone right there, and then just soften it. But now it literally will go on so much better. Like, if you ever feel like your makeup looks flat, you look too powdery, too cakey, go in with some Fix Plus, go in with a face mist, anything like that, and I promise you it will save your makeup. So yeah, that is highlighter on, or just on my cheekbones. And then I'll just take a little bit on the center of my forehead. And then I will always use a pencil brush to go down the nose and hit the end, just to give it like a nice little tip. Now, that is optional. You don't need to do that. Not everybody needs to do it, and not everybody should do it. If you find that your nose droops a little bit, I would probably not put highlighter on the tip of your nose. I would just maybe do the center, or to be honest, I would probably avoid doing any highlighter down the center of your nose, because highlighter lifts that area. So if you're someone with like a bump on your nose, or you have a droopy nose, you don't want to bring a lift to that area. You don't want to bring too much attention there. So I would avoid that, and I would just go in with contour and then highlight around the rest of the face. I always find that just because, you know, everybody on YouTube is doing something or on Instagram doesn't necessarily mean it works for you. Makeup is not a one size fits all. It is adaptable, and it is definitely like, it's a tailor-made situation, okay? Like when I look back at old photos of myself when I had a more droopy nose and I was putting highlighter on the end, now I'm just like, I shouldn't have done that because it didn't look good. But you know, you live and you learn. At the end of the day, it's all about doing what makes you happy. So if you like it, then do that. I'm just trying to give you my own expert advice. And then for blusher, I was actually gonna go in with Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk. I freaking love this blush, but it's quite glowy, and I feel like my face is glowing enough already, and it's gonna glow more throughout the day. So I'm gonna go in with a matte blush and everything will work really well together. So I'm gonna go in with my Patrick Tar blush in the shade She Sincere, and I'm just gonna pop this on the apples of my cheeks. And because it's matte, it will just balance out all of that glow that's on your face. If you go in with a glowy blush, something, you know, that has like specks of gold in there, and then you've got really glowy skin and then really glowy highlighter and all of that, I just find you end up looking, eventually you might look really oily. Whereas if you put some balance into the skin, then it will all work really well together. And I'm just gonna take a little bit of this just over my nose. So that is basically my foundation routine, but I'm just gonna go finish off the rest of my makeup and then I will be back with you. Okay guys, so I'm back. The rest of my makeup is done. I did actually film it for an Instagram video, so make sure you're following me on the gram to see the eyes and the lips. Once everything is complete, I will go in with a finishing mist. I'm using my favorite, which is the Morphe Continuous Setting Mist. And that is just gonna lock everything in place for the rest of the day. And yeah, that's basically it, guys. I really hope you enjoyed this. I will actually do a video with all of my favorite foundations at the moment, because like my makeup style has changed a bit, and yeah, I'm just loving a few different foundations other than the typical ones. And as you guys can see, even though I only went in with one light layer of foundation, my makeup still, in my opinion, looks flawless. And I don't look heavy, but I still look really, really well put together. I think the secret is in the full coverage concealer. Thank you so much for watching. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Don't forget to comment down below. Let me know what your favorite foundation is at the moment so I can try it, check it out. Do you like more full coverage? Or are you more of a sheer medium gal? Let me know. And also don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out on any of my upcoming videos. I've got loads planned for you guys. So yeah, thanks so much for watching. Mwah. Bye.